how is your garden growing? Today in the garden, what we're gonna be doing is doing fall gardening tasks. If you're looking for some help with seed starting cold weather crops, transplanting your warm weather crops, or looking just to hang out, this is gonna be the video for you. And joining me today, I have a little helper. So what are we gonna be doing today? So first up, my little helper is gonna be helping me and you see how we're gonna transplant some of our cold weather crops. We have everything from broccolis, cauliflowers, and kales, along with lettuces, to go ahead and put in our beds. The other thing we need to do today is get some of our peppers in our beds. Plus, we need to go add some seeds in, things like carrots, onions, and beets. So I'm gonna show you all those things in detail by hand. Plus, we also gotta get some harvest done. I mean, we got like a little bit of this and that today. Let's get started first with getting these baby plants in the ground with help from my baby. So first up, we're gonna go add in peppers to our beds. We have two types of peppers. We have red bell peppers and green bell peppers. Now, one of the things that we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be putting these in a spot that is a little bit more shady, which is over here. And the reason I want to do this is one of my members, Gloria, has been giving me feedback on the fact that she got these standard Bonnie's bell peppers and has put them in semi-shade areas, and they've been producing great. So we have 4 of these peppers, 2 green and 2 red. Bonnie's peppers. These are like what you pick up at the Home Depot, the Lowe's, wherever. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna put 2 there, and we're gonna put 2 there. And the reason is because I've got a tomato, and we're also gonna put a kale back in here. And what I'm thinking of doing is testing these peppers. This area gets more shade, this area gets less shade. So I wanna see the impact that it has on their production rates. Can you help me grab these peppers? And we're gonna put 1 red and 1 green in each. Yeah, right there. You'll see with the way that we have these peppers spaced out. Peppers, tomatoes, they kind of want to be like at least 1.5 feet apart, but 2 to 3 feet a little bit better. So what we're going to do is mix those in with a kale, which also wants to be about 1.5 to 3 feet apart from its friends. We're gonna put them all kind of in the same space, and that'll kind of maximize the most amount of stuff we can put in the area. So over here we'll put 1 kale, there's 4 of them here. We'll put 1 back here, and then we'll put a pepper here and a pepper here. And it might not seem like that's like you got a lot of space. This was a mistake I made a lot of times when I first started gardening, is I was like, well, these clearly can go closer. They're so small. But by the end, when they're much bigger, like this pepper plant is gonna be like the same size as this pepper plant. And while you can prune it, they do actually take up quite a bit of space. So we'll put them like this, and this will leave us some space to put some onions or beets in front here to fill in some of this space. And before I put these plants in, what we're gonna do is we're gonna use some Shake and Feed Miracle-Gro. The reason I wanna add this on top of this fresh new bagged soil is because this bed has been used multiple times before. The soil just below the surface has been used once, twice, 3, maybe even 4 times now. So we wanna make sure there's a lot of nutrition for these new plants to keep going. I did add some of this Shake and Feed, which has kelp and earthworm castings, feather meal, bone meal, all kind of a good all-around one instead of getting multiple different types of fertilizers. So we're going to use that to just shake and add that on through this whole space, and then as we dig holes and then later come and seed start, it'll get mixed in with the soil. It's in the name. You shake it and that'll feed it. Do you want to try? There you go. Do more. You gotta do it like this. Da, 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 da. Woo! Yeah, that's it. Good job. We'll put a little bit more by our tomatoes because we last fertilized them about a month ago. This is a Bonnie green bell pepper. The other one in the bed is going to be the Bonnie red bell pepper. So the reason you might want to focus on things like green bell peppers, red bell peppers at this time of year is the pest pressure is down, and so it's a little bit easier for these to have time to mature without a bunch of bugs eating them. And the process for transplanting them is pretty easy. The first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take off these little leaves that are down near the bottom. We don't wanna keep any of the leaves that are near the ground right now when it's getting established, because it makes it really easy for bugs to get up and down, up and down. And we wanna allow our wasps and our ladybugs and our birds to be able to see anything that might kill our baby plant really early on. What we're gonna do is we're gonna dig a hole. I usually just kind of do like a little this, and we're gonna just go in And I use kind of a stabbing motion. That's kind of like my main way of doing it because I feel like it's a lot faster. And then we're gonna just check the spacing with our plant. It fits. If it fits, then we can take our hand, place the plant in between our first 2 fingers, flip it upside down, and then place our baby plant. Take the soil and put it back around. Now with things like peppers, we're gonna plant them at the same level as the soil it came with. But you can see by digging the hole and then patting everything back down, we've already mixed our shake and bake, our shake and feed into the ground. My little helper is gonna help us with this next one. So you're gonna kind of take your shovel, mark where we had it, right? Put that back there. And now you're gonna dig a hole, what you think is about, can you go a little bit further back, like right there? There you go. And then pull back. And do you think it's deep enough yet? And as soon as you do, just take your plant and put it in the hole. Take it like that. Is it deep enough yet?
No.
No. Is it deep enough?
Yeah.
No. How do you check? Pick it up, put it in. There you go. Now, is it deep enough?
Yeah.
Yes. Do you remember how to take it out of the pot? And then put the fingers either side, like that. Now turn it upside down. Do you feel it? And you'll feel the soil kind of fall into your hand, like that. And then flip it. There you go. Good job. And this one we need to take all these little baby leaves off. You want to help take the baby leaves off?
Yeah.
Okay, so all the ones down here we want to take off. All right, next up we're going to plant, hi guys, we're gonna plant one of these kales. Now, this is a little bit different with our process. We're gonna put this one a little bit further back so that right now it's about 12 inches from our pepper plants, which is a little bit on the close side, but because we're doing them at a diagonal, it adds a little bit of space. Also, there's nothing in the same row as it, because these are a little bit more forward. I don't know if you can tell, but they're up here, and then about 7 inches, 8 inches further back is gonna be our kale plant. This will get taller than our peppers. So when the sun's gonna come in from where you guys are at, it can get taller, get more sunlight. It can still access a lot of nutrition around it versus these peppers will stay lower. And that's one of the things to think about. And then what I think about when I'm planning out my garden is I wanna think about which way is the sun gonna be coming, because taller stuff further away from the direction that the sunlight's gonna come. And while they do get a little bit of sunlight from behind me, mostly the palms block it. So we're gonna put our kale right here. Now this hole is not gonna have to be very big because this container is not very big. Now if you have a container like this, what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop it out. So because I have the choice of all of these kales, I get to pick which one looks the best. And these ones, I'll pick these taller ones in the back. So what we'll do is we'll just kind of pop it, boop. So I'm just using my thumb to kind of push this forward and push that stuff out. Same idea, I take my fingers, palm down. I'm gonna catch it. You can see some really nice roots there at the bottom. We're gonna dig a hole straight down, and ready? And there goes our kale. Now we still have 2 kales in here. I can thin these a little bit later. I'm gonna give these a chance to settle in, and then I will pick the kale that I like the most, which is honestly this one up front. It's nice and straight up, and it doesn't have any little wiggles or zigzags to it like the one behind it. Actually, let's make the call right now. We make the call right now? We can make the call right now. You know why we can? Because we're gonna have 2 extra plants later on. So we'll take that little guy out, and this is gonna be our guy. Look how small he is. He looks like he's gonna be nothing. He's gonna be a huge plant later on. Is that crazy?
Yeah.
He's so tiny. All right, let's go plant the other one. Oh, that's such a good question. My little guy asked, should we take off these bottom leaves right now? And because the plant is so small, right now we need to leave them on because every leaf is helping absorb sun, right? So because every leaf is absorbing sun, we're gonna leave them on until it's a little bit bigger, and then we'll take off the lower leaves. That's a great question. You got a little wiggle dance going on there. Fantastic. Go straight down. Straight down. Here, take it like you're stabbing the ground. Turn it towards you. Watch. Like this. Yep. And then you're gonna just stab and then pull it. Stab. Do it again. Stab. And then you're gonna do stab and then just like yank the soil this way. See that? It's a little different than how most people dig, but it actually makes it go a little faster. My Bonnie green right there. I'm gonna take these leaves off, just throw it down at the bottom. I love that you're checking it. What do you think? Needs a little bit more?
Yeah.
Do you want me to help with you? And you want to keep going? You're doing great. Did you know you're doing great? Oh, yes. Yes. Perfect. All right. Remember, take off these bottom leaves. You know how to do that? You're going to pinch it at the end, like this with your nail.
What is that?
And you just throw them on the bottom, yeah. Good job.
Even these ones?
No, leave those ones. Oh, it's okay if you took it off. All right, now you're gonna put it in the ground.
So,
You remember, put your palm down. Yep. And then between those two fingers.
these two?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yep. And flip it upside down. All right. And then it goes like that. Very good. All right, now we gotta pick our next kale plant. Okay, so we're gonna do our kale plant right here. Similar spacing. And we're just gonna do a hole straight down like this. And you guys can see, I'm just like shoving it in and coming straight across. We're gonna take this really big kale right here and we're gonna pop it with our thumb. Take our two fingers, palm down, flip the thing. You can see we got nice roots down here at the bottom. Drop it in. Get it up. Now you might be really worried about your kales being kind of leaning like this. What I actually found is that if this ends up touching the ground, it will actually root right there. So it's not a big deal. I am gonna take this leaf off. That's a little crutch for it. And we're just gonna throw it over there for right now. And then we're gonna leave it there. I'm going to leave this one here just in case it decides to grow. And otherwise we are done putting these transplants in. I think we're gonna do broccoli in this bed. There you go. There you go. Love that. That's perfect. We got green lettuce we're gonna put in this area. Now we're starting to work on our cold weather crops. My little buddy is helping do some shake and feed on all these beds in preparation for, ma'am, what are you doing? So my little buddy is helping with the shake and feed on both of these beds because we're gonna prepare to put a bunch of cold weather crops. We've got both broccoli, cauliflowers, and then lettuces to fill up these beds. There's our, Shiloh, leave it. We already have some tomatoes in the corners, but we're gonna plant around them. So in this bed, we're gonna do our broccolis, or were these the cauliflowers? I think these were the broccolis. These are broccolis. And similar to your kales, so kind of all your brassicas, they all wanna have some similar spacing. So you wanna do 18 inches minimum, but oftentimes a little bit more. And we have this whole bed space that we can work with. So we're gonna put in our 4 broccolis here, and then later on we're gonna come in and plant a row of something, whether we'll do carrots or onions or beets to fill in this space. Again, we're kind of using the sun, so the sun rises in that direction and then it's moving along behind you guys because that's the south. So at this time of year, we're getting more sunlight this way. So anything again shorter, we're gonna put towards, we're gonna either put on that side of the bed or we're gonna put on this side of the bed so they get a little bit more sunlight. That was one of my learnings from last season. I tried to be too symmetric and the sun was not symmetric on the beds. Okay, so we have 4 broccoli. Where's our shovels? So we're gonna place, 4 broccolis in here. So this time we're gonna place them kind of like 1, 1, 1, 1, and we're gonna leave some more space over here to put some of our lower growing root crops. So let's do 1 here. Let's see, 1 here. We'll do 1 here. And then we'll leave that as space. What do we think? 1,
Okay.
2. No, that's not far enough. We need to do like here. It feels really far right now because they're so small, but I know once they get bigger, or should we do W? W is such a good 3, 4. Ooh. Part of me wants to do the W, which is really good for spacing, and I know these plants are gonna get big. Doesn't look like it now. Okay, so we're just gonna do a stabby motion down. You wanna dig that hole? Just kind of go straight down and pull it towards you. Turn it this way. So you see how the scoopy part's that way towards you, and then you go like this, go straight, and then go. And that's it. That's all you gotta do for that one. Because we're gonna take these. So these ones are about 3, 4 weeks old at this point. So we're gonna pop them out, boop, grab it with 2 fingers, Oh, these ones really want to fall apart. In my hand. You can see the roots are barely at the bottom, and I'm gonna put one right in the hole you dug. And we're gonna use our hand because this one's very tiny and very wobbly. So let's just move the dirt like that. So we gotta get really in here, stabilize.
And you buried the one.
Oh, I buried a millipede. Yeah. We got millipedes. Okay, similar idea. We're gonna pop this one out. I'm gonna do 2 fingers and catch it. You're gonna help
I
me.
want to do one.
You wanna do one? You wanna help bury this one?
Yeah, but also I want to
You wanna put one in the hole?
pop out one.
Okay, you can help me pop out the next one. Actually, I wish I could show you guys this. Let me show you this really fast. This is what I was talking about with the kale. I want you to see, I don't know if you guys can see this, but look along the stem right here. Do you see there's little roots growing because it's been touching the ground? That's not unusual. I know a lot of times we talk about roots growing along tomato plants on the ground, but I have found with some of the other crops that if they're touching the soil, they'll also grow little roots. So we're gonna put this in the ground right here. And we're gonna bury this, get it going. So yep, oh perfect. I love that, what you just did there. And we need to pick a broccoli too. Okay, do you wanna try popping one out? Okay, so let's pop this one out. So first off, you're gonna push with your thumb right there
Okay.
until you feel it coming out. Okay, and now you're gonna do 2 fingers. Palm down. You want your palm to be catching most of it, right? And it's gonna fall out onto your hand. Like this.
I feel it falling apart.
And perfect.
Oh.
That's okay. If it falls apart, we just shove it in the ground quickly. And then put the soil back around it.
I'll get some extra soil.
Some extra soil. Oh yeah, there you go. And then can you dig that last hole right there? Or do you want me to do it?
Yep.
You do it? And just do the stabby.
Wait, my shovel.
You can get your shovel. Oh, perfect. You wanted to get this one? Do you want to do this one?
Yeah.
Do you remember how to do?
Yeah.
Well done. Well done. Well done. Just get them in there. Kind of fell a little apart at the end. Not this guy, that guy. The little broccoli. But that's okay. And we're gonna shake out the rest of this. Boom. And that one's done. Now let's go do our cauliflowers. So we want one here.
Okay.
One here. Go a little further back so when it's in there, like you're more back there. There you go. And right here. And here. Okay. This bed feels a lot drier than that one over there.
Now it's harder to get in.
Yeah. Wonder why you think the sprinkler over here might not be working as well, because this feels like super dry and over there.
Now it's really hard.
Yeah. Do you want to help get one of these out?
Yeah.
So let me pop this one out. Yeah, we're gonna have to definitely water these in because this is so dry.
Also grab it.
Push, 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 push. Yeah, good job. Very good job. Very, very good job. Oh, you need to go a little deeper. That's okay.
Yes.
That happens sometimes.
And just cover that up.
Okay, so next up what we're going to be doing is we're going to be adding in our butter crunch lettuces. We have 12 cells. There's probably more little lettuces in here. I've already thinned them out quite a bit. Can you stop? Ma'am. So I've already thinned them out quite a bit and they're ready to be transplanted. Now these, I have done it both ways, starting them in trays and starting them directly in ground. And I have found them both to be successful. Both do really, really well with getting a really good crop. So what we're gonna do is typically you can put lettuces as close as 6 inches, but with these, hi Shiloh, with the pest pressure that we still have in the fall season, I want to space these out a little bit more, so they'll be closer to 9 inches to a foot apart. So what we'll do is we're going to do rows of 3 by 4. And what I'm going to do a little bit differently this time is we're going to actually place the cells and then come in and put them down. So we're just going to give like a little pop, boop, and we're going to just place it right. We're going to go 1, 2, and 3. And I'm doing this just so I can make sure that I have all these spaced out right. And sometimes I do this just when there's a lot of something, just so I can make sure all of our spacing ends up being right. This is a little bit tighter than I probably would. Normally what I've done is I've done just a row of lettuce and then usually have something like brassicas or onions, beets on the front side. This time we're gonna push it a little bit more just because we're doing this a little bit different than season. I'm trying to mix up how I do things every season. So last season I did a lot of symmetric type planting. So like if it was lettuce on this inside of the L, it was gonna be lettuce on all 4 beds. This time I'm doing it differently because I wanted to see how things kind of end up. And what's gonna be wild is how fast these are gonna turn around into little lettuces. It doesn't honestly take very long before you can harvest these guys. Do you wanna keep helping or are you kind of done? Okay. Now this lettuce is going to be butter crunch lettuce, which is in the Bib lettuce family. And all the Bib lettuces I have tested in Florida have worked really well. So I do think it's like a really good pick for people to try out. But butter crunch, this is the one that like when you get bags of lettuce at the store, it's usually a Bib, or I'm sorry, butter crunch lettuce. And you can see, while they say that you need to mix in the shake and feed, if you're just going to be digging in a lot of holes, it'll naturally just mix in on its own. With how dry the soil is, we're gonna definitely want to add some water to make sure that the soil that is holding the roots doesn't get all the moisture pulled out. So one of the things you want to do is make sure you water these in, especially since we're out of the rainy season, because what will happen is those little soil blocks have a lot of moisture around them, but this soil is pretty dry since we put it out yesterday. And what's happening is the water could be pulled very easily away from this and then pulled out of the root systems and stress these plants out. So once we're done planting all these, we'll definitely add water. So we're gonna do the same thing again. 1. Just took a tumble. We took a tumble. Oh, these cells are a little bit better. Ma'am, what are you doing? Just poking everything?
It looks like she's eating it.
Is she trying to eat it?
I think she is.
I wonder if it's the smell of like bone meal or the blood meal is attracting her. Ma'am? Shiloh, are the bugs still going for you?
Yeah.
It must be because you're so sweet.
I really want to stay up.
Yeah, you gotta use your hand. And what happens is these were planted very loosely and lightly. So I just but they're gonna kind of flop over right now, and that's okay.
Hi.
Okay, he's gonna go in because all the bugs are attacking him.
I'll come back.
Okay, this one over here that we're planting is a red romaine called outrageous. Not out. It will get really red. It doesn't look very red right now. It just kind of looks like a weird shade of green, but it will. My big watch out with all these plants right now is I have armadillos and possums digging holes like crazy in my backyard, and sometimes they will, like them or the squirrels or the birds will jump up in here and start digging, and when there's baby plants they just do a number on them. We've had years where they have done quite a number on the beds. The only thing I want to do before we do seed starting is I do want to prune my tomatoes right now, because we do have quite a bit of pest pressure at this time of year, and these plants, it's really easy for stuff just to take a foothold. And so by kind of raising up this area, it's kind of like I was talking about with the peppers, is this allows the birds who will be hopping around in here to see any bugs that are climbing up here and then make it a little bit more accessible for them. Now they don't love the cages just because it makes them more confined and harder for them to like fly off, but it does make things better kind of in the long run. So we're gonna go around and prune these tomatoes really quickly and give my little guy a little bit of a break because the gnats and the sand fleas and all the mosquitoes are starting to come out and get him. And when it comes to pruning, I like using these Fiskars pruners. I like using the micro pruners when we are closer to dealing with seedlings, and then I really love these ones when it comes to just cleaning up plants. And if you want to get the same type, there maybe will be a link over here for them. I'm gonna do a quick shake and feed on these guys. I did a quick shake and feed on these ones just because these ones spent a little too long in their seed trays before they got transplanted. So we're playing a little bit of catch up right now. And I'll tell you, these looked very yellow a couple weeks ago, but now that they're settling in, now that they can access more in-ground nutrition, now that they get a little bit of the shake and feed, they're starting to bounce back and quickly get to the place I want them to be. There are 2 varieties of tomatoes I'm growing this season, and they're 2 that I've done before. One is the 4th of July hybrid tomatoes. Those are by Burpee, I think is the seed packet. It's one of those ones you can get at the Home Depot. I'm pretty sure it's Burpee is the brand. And it has been very successful. It's worked really successfully for me in the past. I've gotten like 60, 70 pounds off them in a season. So that is what's in the 4 like corners of these L-shaped beds. In front of me is the other type, and along the trellis behind you, which is Cherokee purples or purple Cherokee purples or purple Cherokees. There was a tag over here. The difference between the ones on the trellises and this ones in the pepper cages are these ones are store-bought and those ones are started from seed. I wanted to test to see of the varieties that they have. I wanted to do a test to see of the varieties that they have at the store, would this be comparable, or even if it's not the same, is it worth the money? I'm always looking for stuff that's worth the money for you guys, because especially when you're a new gardener, I 100% believe that seed starting is not really a beginner skill, though you can do it as a beginner. I think it's a little bit trickier for you guys. So I like to find those plants that you guys can just pick up and buy at the store when you're getting started, so that you can have some early success and don't get stressed out about not being able to figure out the whole seed starting thing. Like, you can just like spend the $5, put it in the ground, and it be worth the money. And then over time, as you get more experience, then you work on the seed starting, then you can get more efficient with your money. So I wanted to test this, just kind of see how they worked, and then be able to real time compare them to those guys. Now I'm aware it's not a perfect study. If I really wanted to like compare and contrast them, I should have them both on the trellises, but I wasn't planning on it. I planted those and then I found these ones after the fact. And so then I was like, oh, well, I want to try them and see what happens. So just know that they weren't in my original game plan. It was very much an impulse buy. For you guys, I would love to know where you are in your journey. Do you feel like you are more of a beginner? Have you been trying this a couple seasons? Have you been trying a couple seasons, but you've struggled a bit? Or is this your first season and you're taking all my advice and it's going pretty good? Whichever it is, I'd love to hear how your journey is going and if you're really excited for this fall season, because I am super psyched for what's going on here. And I cannot wait to get all this stuff in the ground, and oh, just wait a few more weeks. This is gonna look amazing. I do not foresee this one doing so well. It is in the shadiest corner of this garden behind a cranberry hibiscus. So if you're wondering why this one looks less than stellar, not a great corner, lots of shade all day, all night long. But it does seem like it's bouncing back from my earlier transplanting travails. So we'll see what happens with this guy. But while we're here, this is the pepper that I keep recommending for y'all, which is the sweet banana pepper. It makes amazing banana peppers. Ben's currently chopping up the last of the ones that we have inside. Hi, he's back. I was starting to grab some peppers. I'm probably close to the point of doing pickled peppers, but this is the one that you can just pick up at like a Target, Home Depot, Lowe's. I was originally gonna pull these out of the bed and put onions here, but I'm at the point where I'm like, we do use peppers so regularly. So if you're looking for a pepper that's really easy to start, go ahead and get their sweet banana pepper. It can be a great substitute. The biggest difference for sweet banana peppers versus your regular bell peppers is they're a thin-walled, and all thin-walled means is this. So your classic bell pepper will have a thicker wall, but when it comes to intensity of flavor, it's pretty similar to a bell pepper. And you can eat them fresh too. I mean, I do all the time. So we're just gonna grab the big ones. All these little ones we'll leave on here to keep maturing. I mean, this thing's got bud. Oh my goodness, we're gonna have so many soon. I think I've grabbed all the big ones. How would you feel getting like a harvest like that every week? We're also gonna grab some of these green onions and chop them up and freeze them I kind of stay on top of them pretty regularly so that we can add them for scallion soup. You're getting tired? Okay. All right, that's okay. Thank you for all your help. I love you. So we got a harvest and now we can go do seed starting. So here's what I'm thinking. I think we're gonna do our carrots here. We'll do our beets there. And then we're gonna do, and we'll do onions on the south side. So there'll be like beets on the north, onions on the south, carrots on the north, onions on the south. And then we're gonna do a row of onions in front of those peppers, a row of onions in front of those peppers. And then I'm also gonna add some onions in this bed kind of around where the tomatoes are, because if I can, you know, I say birds visit the garden, but not when I'm here, but there's one. So we're gonna put those onions around because just to kind of deter the critters away from some of the tomato plants and stuff. They might not bulb being that tight and kind of in the shade spots, but they will put greens out and that will allow me to get more for scallion soup, you know. So before we start, I'm just gonna go ahead and add shake and feed to both the beds so that we have a little bit of extra nutrition as we get going. So let's start first with our beets. These beets made, I think we have one that was like over a pound this last year. It was big. It was very big. You can put them in this bed. I will do 1 row, 2 row, 3 rows. So we'll do 1 row of beets, 2 rows of beets, 1 row of onions, okay? And that should be plenty of spacing. When you look at the seed packets, it'll say you need to do a 1/2 inch depth. What I do, and this might be part of your problem, I don't know. First, I kind of try to make it flat-ish. And then what I do is I take my finger and I just make a row like this. So remember, for inches, this is about 1 inch, this is a 1/2 inch. So a thumb depth is about a little bit less than like my fingernail depth is where I come in right here. And I'm gonna make another one right here. I got a big old roselle there that we just chopped out, so that'll be in the way. And then what I do is I take my packet, put my seeds in my hand, like this. And this is what your beet seeds look like. They are rather large compared to most of our seeds. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna do a gentle sprinkle in. Beets can go as close as 3 inches. Some people will leave them to even cluster. The Detroit Red, this specific type, I have seen them grow in clusters and be fine. More of what I found was important to them was how much sunlight they got, which this bed space did not produce as well as that bed space. But the majority of the beets' first primary goal is for their greens for us. We'll use them as a spinach substitute. They're a really good mild spinach substitute because we're using them in smoothies. You could use them in a salad too, but for us that's like goal 1 at this time of year. I'm not as worried about like getting actual beets at this point. And with the way these crops are gonna flip, what I'm thinking is that we can go and add beets and carrots and stuff. There's a bunny over there and a blue jay. Hi, wildlife. We might flip some stuff over there kind of in the back end of the season, but for right now, for the start of the season, we'll prioritize getting my broccolis and cauliflowers going. So I do that. I'm just gonna put the other row because our Texas Grano is gonna be the onions I'm gonna use. These are 1/4 inch deep, but I still do kind of the same process. I'm just not gonna go quite as deep. I just wanna do it right now before I cover up this so I get my spacing right. Go like that. So I kind of know where these are going. And basically then what I do is I just go like this. You can see I'm very gently dusting the dirt over them. And some of them will land on top. I don't really worry about it, and I just do that. Same thing. And that's it. That's how I do my beets. It's not very complicated for me. I'd be curious to hear, for those of you who struggle, when you just watched that process, like what was different or similar from what you did? Because that's all I've done every time I've done beets. The other thing is that if you are struggling and you did a very similar process, is also look at who you get seeds from. Southern Exposure, I really like them because they have a very good seed germination rate, which means like how many seeds are produced. So you get 100 seeds, 95, 90 of them are gonna come up. So that could also be your problem, watering soil. There's lots of different things, but from a seed starting perspective, that's all I do. I do very similar with carrots and onions, so let's go do those. So these ones are a little bit smaller, they're seeds versus like a beet seed. But a very similar process. I make my little trench and then I just come through and I add my seeds. The nice thing about the beet seeds versus the onion seeds is I can see them a little bit better for how much have I put. Very similarly, you can put them 3 to 6 inches apart. So I just do a trench. I don't thin. My biggest challenge has been how much sun they get. And then we're gonna do the same thing. We're just gonna over them. We'll get a bunch. Well, my biggest challenge has really been more about how much sunlight they get. Because I did that very sabermetric plan last season, that meant the onions were in the beds that they were on the outer perimeter, which meant for the beds that were more east and south, the eastern onions and the southern onions grew great. The onions that were on the north side, and especially, I think it was this bed, is it this bed or that bed, had onions on this side, which is like the shadiest corners. Those did not do as good. Plus they had like big broccolis and stuff blocking them, so it didn't work quite as well. So this time I'm trying to make sure I personally do a little bit better with putting smaller stuff towards the east and the south, even if it's not symmetric between like the north beds and the south beds. But you guys now understand this, and now you understand if you're like, oh, it's not quite as aesthetic as it was before. That's why. That is why. So we're gonna do 3 rows. Because carrots and onions kind of have very similar spacing again, we're gonna make just 3 rows, same depth. And if we look at our carrot packet, it says 1/2 inch depth, just like the beets. So we can take our thumb and go fingernail deep for that. And because carrots will get much more shrubby and they have a lot more greenery and can pull in a lot more energy, we will put them on the northern side. So just like I did with the beets, right? The beets were on the north side and my onions were on the south side. So that my onions who don't have like as much greenery, and the greenery won't really block the carrots very much, we'll put them on the southern side so they get a little bit more priority. And again, I'm not terribly worried about the carrots not making enough because I'll put carrots up front too. Up front's gonna go carrots, onions, and cabbages, but those beds aren't quite ready yet, so we'll just get them focused here. So carrot seeds are actually more like lettuce seeds. They're very tiny. But the nice thing is in their seed packets, they tend to give you like a bajillion of them. And so we are gonna put them like this. This type of carrots I use are short and sweet. These are ones you can just pick up online or at Home Depot or Lowe's or Walmart or Target or whoever of your choice you would like to purchase from. That's who I get them from. And they have worked year after year after year. I am like such a creature of habit. Once I find something that's working, I'm like, yeah, let's keep doing that. And let's do it better and better each time. These seed pack, I think the seed pack is pretty old. Oh wow, this is like a really old seed packet. You know how long this has been successful for me? This packet was supposed to be sold by 2022. So I'm gonna extra germinate. I'll put a lot of extra seeds in here because these are pretty old packets. And if I don't see them coming up because this is so old, I will replant. But we're just gonna go do the same thing. And you can thin them out later. I have never really thinned out my carrots other than just pulling them to eat. So take that for what it's worth. And I still get tons of carrots. Tons and tons of carrots. We like to snack on carrots, and we use them for vegetable stocks. I guess you could use them for things like carrot cakes and other kinds of goodies, but we're just like rabbits here. And I'm just doing the same thing with the onions again. I made my little trench, and then I'm just going. We eat lots of onions. We snack on lots of carrots. Beets, we pickle. We use the greens a lot. We've got our peppers transplanted, our tomatoes pruned, peppers harvested, green onions harvested, lettuces out, broccolis, kales, brassicas of all sorts, and we've got our seeds started. And if you're looking for more ideas on what you should be doing in the fall season, check out my ultimate guide to fall. And if you want to get the planner that helps keep me and hundreds of other Floridians on track, get the Wild Floridian Garden Planner right here. Okay, I'll see you soon. Bye.